Welcome to our tutorial on vehicles in the ARFF Interactive Board. In this tutorial, we'll cover where the vehicles are located at in the software and how to place them on your background. We'll also learn driving and turret operations. And to wrap things up, we'll check out the snow equipment. So let's go ahead and get started. Now to begin with, the first thing I need to know is where are the vehicles kept in the software? And to do that, I'm just going to bring up all of the side panels around the edge of the screen just to show you in relation to the other panels the panel that we're looking for, and that's going to be the ARFF Assets panel right here. And within the ARFF Assets panel we have 3 file folders. So let's go ahead and start on the left one here. We have a Vehicles folder. This is where we keep all of our vehicles. We have a Aircraft folder with different types of aircraft. And we have the other section here, and we can just kind of scroll through it. It's just some miscellaneous items that we're going to use in the construction of our presentations. So let's go back to vehicles. All right, starting on the left side here, let's work our way across. We have an airfield operations vehicle. We have an ambulance, and we have a couple of ARFF trucks here, one being red and one being yellow. Next to that, we have a couple of HRET ARFF trucks. Those are the variety with booms on the top that puncture this hole in the side and inject their agent into the side of the aircraft. And they can function just like these trucks, just with the addition of the boom. Now, next to that, we have some snow equipment. We have a snow plow with a dump, and we have a plow with a broom right here. And at the end of the tutorial, we will show those as well. Now, over at the end here, we have a battalion chief vehicle. And with that, we'll get down to this end here. If you're having a tabletop and there's somebody assigned to bringing in a crane, you can just put that out on the board and they can talk about what they're going to do at that point. Now, next to that, we have a fire engine. We have a hazmat unit, a ladder truck, and a mobile command post, which is like a big bus. All right, next to that we have paramedics, we have police, and a couple of rapid intervention vehicles. Now, if we add any vehicle out here, say for example, if we add this vehicle right here, we can change the name of it just by clicking on it, and we can type Red 4 on there, change it to whatever you want it to say. And then once you put the name on it, you can touch that button right there and the ID will be above the vehicle just like that. All right, now let's continue on across the screen here. We have a stair truck and a transport bus. And of course, this is where what we're gonna use to pick up the walking wounded and anybody else that we need to transport to the hospitals in our emergency simulation here. So let's bring this back across and let's talk about adding vehicles to the screen as I just did this one right here. So to do that, you're going to push on the little plus sign next to whichever vehicle that you want, and I'm going to click on it and it brings it right out. Let's get rid of that one. Now, the first thing you're going to see when it comes out, of course, is going to be a red toolbar that's around this vehicle here. And there are 2 types of toolbars. One is for the pause edit mode, and a different one is going to be in the play present mode. Remember those 2 modes we've been talking about here in the tutorials. So here, notice in the play present mode, we have a whole bunch more buttons and different buttons in general than the other one there. The biggest difference is going to be that in the pause edit mode, you can delete. Just like that. But in the play present mode, of course, there's no delete there, just the extinguishing agents button, activation buttons, and the like. And we'll get to these. We'll talk about everything on this toolbar as we get going here. So now, just to begin with, let's go ahead and get this out of the way. How we drive this vehicle right here. So in order to start learning about the driving modes, let's rewind and go back to where we imported in this background. And we did that in another tutorial, but we need to go back to the settings button. And right here is where we imported in the background. Remember, we went to custom background. We selected one of these backgrounds. Here's the one we're using right here. And we added it to it. We closed it out. And then we sized it in here and we locked it into position. And now we're going to talk about the drive modes here. So there's 3 modes here. And when you start up the software, you're going to be in the path follow mode. This is the default button right here for the software. And 99% of the time, you're going to stay in this mode. In fact, I would probably never change it unless you have a very specific reason why you want to change it here. And that's not going to happen very often, I don't think. So let's go to path follow and let's go back to the main screen. All right, now we're in the path follow mode. And what that's going to do is I'm going to draw a circle around this aircraft. So let's go ahead and move that aircraft into the middle here. About right here. And I'm going to demonstrate that. So in the path follow mode, as I dump these other panels, in the path follow mode, I'm going to draw it around and it will memorize where I move the mouse as my left finger is pushed down on that mouse button. Okay, so click on it. You're going to see a blue circle on the back of the truck with a couple of arrows. If I drag that backwards, the vehicle will go backwards. If I drag it forward, it's going to remember where I move this mouse. It's going to curve up and around, come all the way around, and come back and park right here. All right, so it's memorizing the path that I did. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's go back and check out the other 2 modes. All right, I'm going to click on that and just hit stop right there and reset it. You see I'm rotating it with that rotate tool there. Okay, back to settings. Let's go to immediate and let's hit finished. Now we're in the immediate setting. What that's going to do is I'm going to click on this button and it's going to drive directly at my mouse cursor wherever I move it. Okay, so, and when I let my finger off the mouse button, that's wherever it's going to stop. All right, it will not continue to the end where I've got my mouse right here. So let's try it. Okay, finger off the button and it stops. If I move it through here, it'll go right over the aircraft. It's aiming right at the mouse. If I leave it here and I just keep my finger on the mouse, it's going to just continue to that. And when I let it off, it's going to stop. Okay, so that's immediate. Now the final one is somewhat similar to the last, and that means it's going to go to wherever the mouse is left at, even if I let go of the mouse earlier than that. So let's try that. Okay, so even though I'm driving around that, notice it's just going to continue to aim right at my mouse. Now if I let it go right now, it will continue to wherever my mouse ended at. So that's the difference on those buttons right there. And it's not to confuse you that I brought them all up, but you know, because I would say that most of the time you'll never select any of these other ones here. I would, for most of your presentations, just leave it on path follow. And we'll bring this up one more time here when we're talking about the vehicle pause button. I'll come back and show you what it does. Excuse me. So I'm going to hit finished right there. And let's talk about this right here really quickly. Let's pan this back. Move my vehicle back out here. And we're going to talk about this. Let's say that I wanted to have 2 vehicles out here. All right. And I want them both to drive at the same time. and want them both to arrive over at the aircraft. Let's go ahead and stagger these a little bit. Let's go ahead and hit the vehicle pause button, and that's not to be mixed up with pause edit. This is vehicle pause. So they will not move even if I move it like this. You notice it puts a little path on here where I drew this. This is where I'm going to end up. And I can click on this one. And set that just like that. Unpause it. And here we go. This is really cool. This is going to generate a lot of conversations in your training room, especially if you have a touch screen and you let your audience come up and touch the screen and slide their finger along and take the vehicle where they want it to go. And then you can talk about all the strategies, why they went to where they went, all the factors that are going to be involved in their decision making for where they're parking around the aircraft. So it's really cool. Okay, now let's talk about, let's see, let's do the same thing, only let's change the driving mode. All right, so let's go back to that, and then let's select the to the last point right there and let you kind of see the difference between those two right there. Now we're in pause. Notice I'm drawing it, but you can see that vehicle is always going to aim right at my mouse. All right, so if I want it to take a straight shot, I can just do that and undo it, and it will go right after it, just like that. Okay. Let's do another demonstration here. Let's take this vehicle and move it right to here. Let's take this vehicle and we'll move it right to here. And let's go ahead and be in vehicle pause. And we're going to go out on the runway here, right? So let's take this one and just draw a line. Let's take our second vehicle. We'll park it right there. Now we're going to talk about radio communications with the tower. And here's our hold line. We are going to need to stop here and talk to the tower before we go out here on the runway. So we can unpause it. And when your vehicles get up near that hold line, we can hit pause, and then we can talk to the people who drew these lines on the board, and we can have them simulate asking for permission from the tower and telling them where they want to go and doing everything they need to do on the radio. And once they achieve that in the classroom by simulating that communication, you can unpause it and they can continue on to their destinations. Really cool. Okay, now let's go ahead and start. Now that we've pretty much got that out of the way, let's talk about the buttons. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to move this vehicle up into position, and we're going to have it put out a fire. So let's add a fire really quickly. Let's go to pause edit. Let's drop that in. Let's create a wind direction and some speed. And let's go back to presentation mode in the classroom. And I apologize, I'm just kind of talking as I do this. Kind of helps me verbalize it, and it helps you understand what I'm thinking here. But what we're going to do is let's go pause mode, and let's drive this vehicle over here, and then let's bring this one over, and then let's unpause it, and then we're going to apply extinguishing agent with this vehicle right here. And I apologize, I did get a little close. I shouldn't have mounted it up so close. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to tell the truck where we want the turret to spray. And to do that, we have a target right here. So I'm going to grab that target with the mouse, and you can do this with your finger, and I'm going to put it right there. Then I'm going to select an extinguishing agent button right here, and we have water, we have foam, we have dry chem, we have dry chem with water, dry chem with foam, and we have an off button. So let's select the foam. So we have the target on it, and we selected the agent right there. So that's how we're going to do that right there. Now let's say that this is a three-dimensional fuel spill. All right. So, and it's not going out. So what comes to mind for me is I'm going to need a different type of extinguishing agent. Maybe something mixed with foam as well, but let's just try the dry chem initially. So I'm going to shoot some dry chem over at my target. Notice it's purple, and it's kind of, the range is not quite the same as that. So if I want to have something carry it over there, I'm going to select one of my other agents, maybe something combined with foam. So here we have the dry chem with foam right here. I'm going to select that, and that will carry the dry chem into the three-dimensional fuel spill right here. Okay, so remember our other agents. We've got water, we have foam, dry chem water, dry chem foam, and off right here. Now, if I want to demonstrate directing the agent onto the side of the fuselage, I can grab, once this is highlighted, I can pick up the target, and I'm just doing it with the mouse right now. And let's say I wanted to have them cool the wing. And I know I've got dry chem in this, but we're just demonstrating the redirecting of the turret here. So I can actually move that and talk about cooling the fuselage, cooling our exposures by doing that. And you know, you can, it's one thing to just talk about it in the classroom, and it's another thing for them to hear about it and actually see it. And that's what's really cool about this software, is it really just helps them see what they're doing here. So that's a little bit about that right there. Now, if this truck was out of range of this right here, let's demo that. Even though I pull it clear back here, it's not going to reach the target because the truck has a set range. And so let's go ahead and demo that right there. So there is the maximum range of a straight stream turret. All right. Now, if I wanted to select the target clear out here, I can move this and it will still direct that turret at that target. So just to let you know, it does have a maximum range. Now let's say that you were kind of close to being in range, but not quite there. You see we're coming up just a little bit short on here. So another button here we have is the high and low flow button right here. So if I want an extra little bit of reach, hit that high flow, and boom, now we're actually sending agent right into the fire from just a little bit farther back. It will boost the reach a little bit, but this is a good opportunity for you to talk to the students or your audience about agent conservation, because when you go to high flow, you're going to be using quite a bit more agent. And you've probably either got 1,500 gallons or 3,000 gallons on your rig. In some cases, a little bit more. But so that's a good time to talk about agent conservation and why you might want to stay on low flow, but just move the truck a little bit closer. Just like this. Okay, now let's say you were super close. And let's say that you wanted to go to more of a fog pattern. We would select this button right here. And now we're going to go to a little bit more of a fog pattern into this right here. So that's a little bit about the fog pattern and the straight stream pattern right there. Okay, so I think we've covered, let me shut this off. So I believe we have covered we've kind of talked about the rotate tool. That's how you're going to rotate it. We've talked about the agent selection button. We talked about the fog pattern. We've talked about the high-low flow. We know about the move tool. And we know about the target right here. Now if you want to reset the target, just tap on that and it will bring it right back home, and then you can grab it again and move it wherever you want to move that. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about the auto turret button right here. So let's set one truck up here, and let's bring another truck right here. And let's go ahead and set this to pause vehicle, because we're going to drive both vehicles. And let's go ahead and we're going to engage the auto turret right here. So once you engage it like that, it's all set to go, and you can do this in whatever order you want. But let's go ahead and let's first drive it over there to where we want to go. So let's say we're going to go to right there. All right. And then we're going to automatically start the turret. So you can just grab the target, and then you can select your extinguishing agent, and now this truck is ready to rock and roll with the turret. So let's go ahead and just drive this one over to the rescue side, and we'll cover that right there. So here we're going to unpause it, have him cut him off like that, and he's going to start spraying his agent automatically. And this person ended up over on the rescue side, at least for this aircraft, since we have a fire on this side. So that's a little bit about the auto turret. And we could get 3 vehicles, 4 vehicles all pulling in, a couple of them going off with their turrets, one coming into the side where the slides are coming off or the people are coming out, and one to maybe hold back, however your game plan is set up with your department. Okay, now let's talk about the last button on here. That's going to be the lock button. So we've seen the vehicles drive around out here, and let's kind of pull this back a little bit. And let's go ahead and activate the lock button on here. So when I lock that, that's going to tell this vehicle that it's going to stay in whatever position it is on the screen. And you might be confused about what I'm talking about right now. So we're going to put this right in the kind of the center of the screen here. Let's rotate it. And let's go ahead and we're going to start driving it. But since we're in pause mode, it's not going to go anywhere for a minute. We'll just set it to go around like that. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit. And here we go. Now notice the vehicle is locked in the center of the screen right here, but the background will pan. And you can have other vehicles driving with it, but this is the only one that's locked. and so it will stay centered on this vehicle right here. It's just for a special effect for whatever you're looking at here, if you need this type of effect. Maybe we could have drawn clear across the airfield with that vehicle pause tool on, and we moved the vehicle all the way across, and then when we started it, it would just drive one continuous long pathway around your airfield. Okay, let's go ahead and shut this fire off here. And let's go ahead and let's talk about the snow plows right here. Okay, so let's add a couple of snow plows. We've got the snow plow with the dump on the back, and we've got the plow with the broom right here. So I don't expect that firefighters are going to be using the snow plow and the broom. In some cases, maybe, if that's one of their duties. But in some cases, some of the people at your airport might enjoy using this software. So we threw it in there. Okay, so let's talk about the plow with the dump here. When you click on it, it comes with its own toolbar, and it's going to be different, of course, than the toolbar that, oh, actually it is the same. I'm sorry, my bad. But the only time you can drive it is when you are in the play present mode. So on this toolbar, we can move, we can rotate it and set it up for, and then save it in the positions that you want. And to adjust the blade on it, you have a button right here. If you tap it once, it'll go left. Tap it again, it goes full right. And you tap it again, it'll go straight. All right, let's do that with the plow with the broom. Now both of these are going to move at the same time, so let's go ahead and tap that. So left, right, center. So a way that those could be used, let's go ahead and pan this over and let's set up something up right here. So let's go ahead and bring out a plow, and let's set that plow right here. Then let's add some of these larger specialty pieces of equipment. And we can rename all of these vehicles. Let's bring them back here. And let's tell it where to go. So let's put it on vehicle pause. And this person is just going to drive right down the white line. This person will drive next to him. This person's going to drive in a line right next to him. And so forth. And you know what, I forgot to set the direction of their plows, so let's go ahead and make them all go left. All right, here we go. So we're going to unpause it. And this is great for in the training room. These guys can see how they're going to line up on the runway or on your taxiways, how they're all going to work. And it gives them a good idea. It also allows them to kind of navigate around on your airfield. You know, it teaches them to airfield familiarization, and you're going to stop in certain places and have to talk to the tower. And you can see this airfield, it's kind of a medium-sized, large airfield. There are a lot larger airfields, but they can be quite complicated for these people. So this is pretty cool. Allows those snow fighters a chance to come out and practice in the training room. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I've enjoyed doing it, and I hope you've learned something that you can use in your preparation for your training room classes or your tabletop sessions that you do. And I hope you visit us again and check out our next tutorial, and I want you to have a good day.